guys, this is Tarot with Kittens, Weights, and Tarot, and today I'm doing a VR to Jacob's tarot readings, and he created a hashtag called hashtag snogmarryavoid. He said that he came up with this idea after a chat, online. There was like some kind of like video live stream going on with Kelly Bear, and she was kind of talking about if we adapted our tarot decks to kind of like the game, the drinking game, Fuck, Marry, Kill, or as Moog from Mighty Car Mods might say, Root, Marry, Kill. Jacob had decided to do the Snog, Marry, Avoid, and then there were a couple other decks that a couple other categories that he had added with that as well, and that was Run From, so not only avoid, but a deck that you would run from, so possibly like avoid the decks you would avoid and maybe run from, not because you hate them or because they read poorly, but maybe because they read so well and they call you out on so many things that it might be uncomfortable to read with them. However, that we need decks like that. You don't always need the friend that's like, just kind of telling you how it is. Sometimes you really need somebody to like sit you down and like have a like whatever come to goddess kind of talk, and then the other category he had was like, what deck would you have an affair with? Because he was talking about, how we treat our decks differently than we would like actual like human partnerships. Like many of us are like, monogamous marry, that's like me. It's just like me and the dude, and like that's it. But when it comes to tarot decks, it's like we have this love affair with all these different decks, because they all read differently, or at least we perceive them differently. We project our different parts of our shadow, our persona, our loves, our likes, onto different decks, and therefore get a different perspective from them, which is pretty awesome. So I have pulled a deck for each of those categories aside. So I have a deck that I would snog or root. I have a deck that I would marry. I have a deck that I would avoid. Again, not because it reads poorly, but because sometimes the readings can kind of be uncomfortable. A deck that I would run from because it's one that I it's like a sometimes food, and then one that you would have an affair with, just because it's again one maybe you don't want to work with all the time, but it can be fun. So here we go. Let's start with our very first deck. So what deck would I snog, or deck that I would root, or deck that I would do the hanky panky? So I have the Practical Magic Tarot. You guys have seen this like come up so many times in a lot of my videos. I'm definitely having, somewhat of a love affair with this deck. And it's one where I have a lot of fun with it. It's good for all different types of readings. I can kind of take it with me everywhere. Probably wouldn't want to settle down with this particular deck for the rest of my life, because I have a deck for that, but but I wouldn't be sad if I was stranded somewhere and this was the only deck I have. But it is a deck that I use a lot. It gets a lot of use. Wow, for putting this into naughty terms, it sounds really weird, but it gets a lot of use. But yeah, we homies, we get along, we have good laughs together, we have a good time. So yeah, that would be the Practical Magic Tarot. Okay, so I said that the Practical Magic Tarot, although I love it, it goes with me everywhere. It's a deck that I see myself using for a long time, but not necessarily a deck that I would settle down with. I do have a deck that I would do that with, and that is the Osho Zen Tarot. It was my second deck that I have ever owned. The Enchanted Tarot was my very first deck, but this is the one that I that like really brought me down into like studying the tarot and like really making this like a thing, like really wanting to like devote study to it, time to it, love to it. So yeah, the Osho Zen, it was, you know, we've developed quite a love together, you know, over these many years that we've been together, me and the Osho Zen. The Osho Zen is fun, but it can also be serious. It's kind of that, you know, it's got a good balance. It's like got a good balance of a good relationship. It's got good communication. You know, you can have fun together, but this person also, or this deck also isn't going to allow you to be delusional about certain things. Will definitely keep you on the straight and narrow. Is always there in your corner to like cheer you on. But you know, what's best for you. And that's what I believe the Osho Zen has. And so that's why I would marry that particular deck. Okay, the deck that I would avoid is from the Inner Hue Lumina Tarot. So it's the backs of those. So I made a video about this one being quite a cheeky deck. You know, at first we were like kind of good, but now when I read with this, I read with this if I want to get like bitten, basically. If I'm like ready, all right, it's time to get called out. Let's get called out. I'm ready to do that today. I'm ready to do some shadow work. I'm ready for you to just tell me how it is. You know, I might be wearing some rose-colored sunglasses. I'm ready for you to throw those on the ground and smash them. That's what the Lumina Tarot does. So, you know, I avoid it until I'm like ready for that kind of stuff. So I'm not saying I avoid it all year. I do bust it out from time to time throughout the year, but it's not one where I run to and I'm like, ooh, let's throw that in my purse and like read with it like all the time. You know, I'm like not ready for that all the time, you know? So yeah, that is the Lumina Tarot. Next we have the deck that you would run from. So this one would be like Lumina times like, I want to say times 10, maybe times 5. So it's even more intense. And that is Le Tarot du Marseille. And that's the Par Polka Tarot or Marseille deck. Make sure I got all the cards in here. That is the box. And these are the backs of the cards. And so this deck is so like, I don't know how it can be so, I don't know, it's like eerily spot on about like everything. Everything that I don't want to talk about or look at right now, or I'm like just not ready to deal with it. And this one's like, no, we're gonna deal with it right now. I don't care how painful it's gonna be. We're gonna bring this out into the open, and you're gonna work on this right now, and we don't care how long it takes and how uncomfortable it's gonna be. Which you need somebody like that. You need a deck like that. But again, I can't have everybody like ripping off all the bandages on my body all the time and all at once. So that's to me how this deck reads. Although I think it's cheeky and fun, you know, definitely. Just something about it, the energy about it is just like, you know, we're really getting down to some like serious stuff. Like we're going to some like past traumas, and like we're bringing it to the surface, and we're bringing it to light, and why I'm doing certain things in my life right now. It's like, wow, really? So yes, that is the Le Tarot du Marseille Par Polka. And yeah, so I don't run from you all the time. It's not because I hate you, it's because you're a little intense. And the final deck that I would have an affair with, you know, so that'd be like cheating on my poor Osho Zen over here. And that would be the Buckland Romani Tarot. And this one, I don't use it very often, and I find it tends to feel like it's tired, like it can't do too many readings. You know, where it'll be good for a little while, and then it's like, okay, I'm ready to be put away now. You know, where it's like the really like swarthy, you know, awesome to me, like, you know, foreign, handsome dude, awesome accent, and you're like so taken by them, and they seem so interested in you. They're like all about you and all about what you want, and like all about, you know, getting those readings from you, and then all of a sudden just like does the like pull back, and you're like, wait, what? I thought we had like a connection, like, and it's like, I'm done for right now, and you're like, oh, okay, well then, call me. That's the Buckland Romani Tarot. And as I look at it now, I'm like, oh my gosh. Yeah, I got those dreamy eyes. I'm like, ooh, or sorry, what do they call them? Bedroom eyes. But yeah, I know that at some point it's like just gonna pull back, and it's gonna be like, no, I'm ready to get put away now. We're all done here. And I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, so, but you know, I totally love this deck. So that's it, you guys. That was the VR to Jacob's tarot readings, hashtag snogmarryavoid. I've seen the video response that Simon from the Hermit's Cave has done. I saw Shuffle Tarot had done one. I know there's a lot of people that have done a VR to this, so if you fancy doing a VR, I would highly encourage doing this one. I think it's a lot of fun. Maybe you can even do it on the Instagrams, so we could all check it out, maybe even Facebook. But I will definitely link Jacob's original video down below, so you can check it out and see what decks he had pulled, because he had pulled multiple decks for each of those categories. Yeah. And I thought this was fun, so thank you, Jacob. All right, so if you guys dug this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to click subscribe, and don't forget to click that ding 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 notification bell for more videos just like this. And if you want to catch a reading with me, head over to www.kittenswaitsandtarot.com. I have a lot of different types of readings. You choose the one that best fits you and your question. And yeah, don't forget to head over to patreon.com/kittenswaitsandtarot if you want to support me and what I do here, and you want to see more of it, and you want to see it flourish, and want to see me do more for you guys and for the community. Definitely head over there. I just put out our crystal grid of the month. Complete with like layout of what crystals I use, so that you guys can recreate it at home. It's got an affirmation and all of that. This month was harmony and balance, so definitely check it out. And I also do a weekly pull, but I do like live streams and healings and all kinds of stuff. So if that fancies you, go ahead and check it out. All right, I'll catch you spiritual homies later. Peace, love, and chicken grease. Peace out.